Do you remember the first time we met?
No. When was the first time we met?
So the first time I remember you were hosting that mic in...
Was it at Woody's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
And I remember every comic would go up and you would riff and you would roast and you did that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I remember you didn't give me the dap, you gave me the fist bump.
Okay.
And I remember interpreting it as disrespect.
Oh, you remember that? Did that start like your villain origin story? Like, I don't like this guy.
No, it didn't make me dislike you. It was more like, and this is again my own insecurities.
Yeah.
It was more like, oh, he doesn't respect me. I need to get.
Yeah. I need to. This guy. Yeah.
Because I saw the roasting and stuff, and I was like, okay. This is a style. There's a style or a vibe there.
Yeah.
And that was my first time meeting you.
Okay.
You seemed very comfortable on stage, very confident.
Okay.
How long you been doing stand up?
I've been doing it 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what got you into it?
I was in the military. I was in the Air Force, and I actually started it a while ago when I was 22, 21 in the military.
You started stand up in the military?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started. I was stationed in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I was in the Air Force, and everybody's funny to like people they grow up with, or you're the funny guy in the group, or you're the class clown. So, but I never thought anything of it. You know, I never thought. And then you're always funny to like motherfuckers that look like you. Of course, I'm funny to other black guys my age. But when I went to the military, it was like this 30-year-old white dude that would be like, "You're hilarious," and I'd just be like ripping everybody at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'd just be like pretty much just complaining, but in a funny way. And he was like from a podunk town in Texas, and for him to be like, "Hey man, you're funny," and he was, you know. I'm 36 now, but when you're 21, a 30-year-old is 90, nigga.
Yeah.
You know
That's
I mean?
a real adult.
That's a real adult. Yeah, he had kids. You know, he was married. So I was like, man, maybe there's something to this. So he tells me to go to an open mic, and it's at the local comedy club, Looney's, down there in Colorado Springs. I'd never been on stage before, so I go to the open mic, and then he tells everybody from my job. I was a cop in the military. Wow. Yeah.
Well, okay, keep going.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing. Okay.
Yeah. You know what's funny is when you meet someone, like how people are interpreting me depending on when you've met me in my journey. Like you met me at Woody's, to you I'm the like roasting comedy, but when I first started I was doing comedy deadpan. And I was terrible at crowd work, and I was only talking really about like my experience in the military. Yeah. I was the military comedian guy, and now I'm so far removed from that, most people don't even know.
Yeah.
But so I go to this open mic, he invites everybody from my job, and it's not a fucking open mic, it's a competition. And at this competition, it's a guy who had been on HBO before, the local morning radio host, and like other local comedians, people who had done it before. And I go on there, and the competition, I go to the next round, and then the competition lasts a month. I make it to the finals. I end up taking second place, and the grand prize was you got to host the comedy club all summer, every weekend, all summer. The guy who won first place goes on a camping trip. He dies in his sleep. Guess who got the grand prize?
Good for you.
Yeah. It's a weird way to start, but like what a
serendipitous
way to start. Now, even crazier than that, the first time I do comedy is also my daughter's birthday and my son's birthday, and they're born 9 years apart. So my daughter, my son, and comedy all started same day, April 22nd.
So April 22nd is a big deal for
you. Oh,
you.
yeah. That's my fucking Super Bowl. That's why Christmas I cry because I'm sensitive all day. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's
You're sensitive?
I'm really sensitive. I think I'm one of those like tough because I'm a sensitive person type of thing. I keep to myself in the comedy, honestly, because I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
Because I think the military messed me up in a way of those people. There's nothing to gain from anybody. In comedy, people will befriend you because you're hot. Like I was running a show at Zany's for a while, and I shot a special at Zany's on July 4th during the pandemic. Sold it out the first weekend it was in. July 4th.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal because traditionally comedy clubs are closed. They don't even, because it's an outdoor day. So I sold, and when I was doing that, I had a lot of friends. You know what I mean? A lot of people. You know what I mean? But as time progressed, different things happen, and this shit comes in waves. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're not. Sometimes I'm wondering if this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? With my life, I have kids. I've been married. You know what I mean? I'm 36. I've lived a whole bunch of life. And I think I've been, especially in comedy, like burned in that way. I feel like, or is it like, not, I don't want to say burned, but maybe like turned off a little bit. In the military, like, we're all making the same. You kiss up to me for what, nigga? We both get paid the 1st and the 15th.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Like, we all are complaining and talking about how this shit sucks. There's no benefit, but I see that a lot, and I see people talking about their friends, and that like, I don't know, that I'm really sensitive to that. Like, if you hate me, if you're like, I don't fuck with Jamal, you talk shit about, that's fine. That's fair game. But if you're like, this is my boy, and then like you think because there's something to gain, you talk, I don't know, that kind of shit breaks my heart.
I know what you mean. I'm sensitive, but outwardly sensitive.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have much of the hard. I need to learn how to develop it, because in some cases
it's a balance, I think.
Yeah.
It's definitely a balance.
But I too am incredibly sensitive.
Yes.
I cried over a kitty last weekend.
Yeah. I watched the summer. I watched Transformers and Barbie. I cried at them both.
Yeah.
I related to a robot. I cried at them both. Like,
you just, being a sensitive guy, especially a sensitive black man, is always difficult, because we're not allowed to feel anything but being tough.
Yes.
But I think it helps, especially as an artist. I think it helps a lot. You said a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I'm excited to dig into all of it. But in terms of the friendship stuff and the feeling, almost like you want to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Do you have your one or two your people?
I think I used to, like, so. How long have you been in Chicago?
Chicago, like 2.5 years. 2.5
years. Okay, so before the pandemic, I had this group, so my first year in comedy here, I started doing comedy in Colorado. That whole thing happened, and I was doing it for like a year or two, and that was back in like 2010, 2011. Okay. So that was a while ago. And then I got deployed to Afghanistan. And when I came back, I didn't do comedy for like 6 years, because I was just questioning a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, you see something like that. I mean, you see the stuff going on right now, and with the Gaza Strip. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you see stuff like that up close, how can it not affect you? So I just quit. Like, do I want to be telling jokes? Like, should I be doing something more? I don't know. Like, it just not fucked with me. Like, I don't know. Like, I was shell shocked. It just fucked with like my sensibility. Like, when I got out of the military, I took a lot of sociology classes. I was like, I don't realize how the world works. Like, I need to figure out, so I kind of went on that journey for a while, and I tried to be different things, and then I just landed back when I turned 30. I was with my ex-wife, my son's mom, and she was like, nigga, just stop playing.
Just do what you need.
Do what you need to do. You're a comedian. I see it. She was like, quit your job and do this, and that's
she
what
said. Quit your job.
Black woman, man, quit your. And she was straight up with me too, because I have like old videos on YouTube. Yeah. And it was like my first time on stage, and she was like, "Look, I don't like what you're saying." She's like, "I think you're smarter than that," but she's like, "You have a presence about you. You have a command about you," and she's like, "You can use that any way you want to." She's like, "If you step in, she just really saw something in me that I thought I seen, what I mean? I felt about myself, but she confirmed it. And I was doing it since. My first year in comedy was pretty successful. Like, I think because I was older and I was coming from a different perspective, being a military guy, I had kids. All these guys are talking about my therapy and dating's hard. And I didn't have that. I was happy. I was married, so, I did Zany's my first year. I did the Laugh Factory. I got into a comedy festival in New York the first year. But then I just realized, like, the first time you do a Laugh Factory, you get a new haircut, you get a new shirt. You're like, this is it. This gonna change everything. You tell your mama, You think about the bitch like, you know what? You stupid bitch. Because today's the day it fucking happens. Today's the day they push the button on Aaron Chase. You tell yourself that. And it's not that it's not a big deal and it doesn't feel good, but there's nobody, especially in Chicago, that can. It doesn't happen like that. You do it 100 times. You do it 3,000 times. Some people do it every day, and it don't matter. So I realized that, and I was like, I need to take control of like my own like destiny type shit. So I formed this thing called Unlikely Friends Comedy, right? And we would film sketches every Sunday, and I would grab different people from it was me, Dan Garcia, Jessica Mance, and then we had like a whole bunch of auxiliary people that would help us, and we'd like film sketches every Sunday. We produced a lot of shows, just our own shit. We had like a lot of successful shows, but I think once the pandemic happened, it really slowed our momentum. And like the learning, like I was learning how to use a camera. I thought I was like a in front of the camera guy. I fell in love with directing. I started taking classes. You know, I mean, last summer I was taking poetry classes and shit. Like I just like learning new shit. You know what I mean? Like I like all art. You know, and I like bringing that into stand-up. Stand-up's, of course, like my main shit, but I love, you know, I'm sure you like all art, you know what I mean? I'm sure you look like you write some poetry. You got the incense here. I know you got a poem, a sonnet, something for us.
I do. I've come to realize recently that I'm not funny. And I mean that, I know. Yeah. I mean, let me elaborate on that. I know how to do stand-up. I'm good at the craft and the art.
You're smart.
What do you mean?
Like, because if you're smart, like, it's like a motherfucker that's an athlete. They be just good at tennis. They're not necessarily a tennis player, but if you're smart, you can do like these intellectual different things.
Yeah, you can. Someone who's built for athletics, and then they just happen to. Listen, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. I'm not saying I'm Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But he wanted to do baseball. He was just an athletic.
Exactly. Deion Sanders, Bojan. There's just guys like if LeBron James wanted to play football, that nigga could play football.
Absolutely.
If he wanted to play baseball with his big ass, he'd be lumbering to first base with them tight ass pants. You know.
But yeah, no, that's something I've learned about myself.
Have you been like? How have you been exploring that?
It's been realizing that I'm an introvert and leaning into that. It's the reason why I like to do. I'm not good at the social part of this.
Yeah.
And when you were saying like the how shady this business can be,
yeah,
I feel that too. I get paranoid about people. I don't trust people. And
if you're already coming from that, this business only exasperates that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if you have your questions about your looks and you're like, I'm gonna be a model. That's how this shit is, you know. Like, if you're sensitive socially, which I am, I am a sensitive social person. Because to me, once I say like, if I say we're friends, like that
means something,
bro. That means like you can call me I'll fight for you. I'll cry with you. Like it means we're friends, and it doesn't mean we're always gonna agree. You might have to check me. I might have to check you. There's times I haven't talked. I have a best friend, Rob. We were in the military together, and man, this dude. There's times I haven't talked to this nigga for a year, but I knew that we still friends. Yeah. You know, and in comedy, and maybe it's just me, but I haven't found that. Yeah. I don't think I found like this is my, you know, and that can make it a little lonely or a little, you know, standoffish, because when you're going in a group to mics or to shows, it makes things easier. And I've also gotten myself in trouble by having women in comedy be that for me, and then that's a different thing. Now you've crossed the, you know what I mean? Because I've always found it easier, and I'm sure you to connect with women. Sensitive. They're gonna. I don't have to do the bravado thing. I don't have to. I can tell you where it hurts. We can both talk to each other.
No one's gonna call you gay.
No one's gonna call me gay. Yeah. And with me, like with you, that you were probably like, damn. But me, it's like I've masked my sensitivity with anger. So now, like my first comedian friend, man, it's a white dude. Yeah. It's a white. We're cool now. I'm gonna tell this story. We're cool now. Okay. And I think it's funny now.
Okay.
But we have this unlikely friends thing going, and it's a white dude, and you can tell he wants to be in the popular white guy group.
Okay.
Okay, because that's a thing within comedy too. It's also, as much as we're woke and smart and it's segregated, you know. Even between niggas, there's the South Side hood niggas. There's the niggas who like anime and think they smart. You know what I mean? There's all, and I like both. I want to fight and I like anime, so I find myself like, oh, what do I, you know? Yeah. So me and this guy were tight, and like I said, this is my friend, and he has a falling out with another comedian, very popular comedian, and they were living in a house together. And he's got to move out, so I move this guy out. Right?
You help him.
I help him lift shit.
That's a friend move.
That's a friend move. When he moves in, he didn't have the electricity turned on yet, and he had no money. So I buy him some candles and a flashlight. We share a meal together, and he's down because he's 30. You know how this shit goes, man. Especially when you're a little older, you're like, damn, is this all I? You know what I mean? And he's having that moment, and I know how that feels. So I'm trying to console him, be there for him. So we're trying to get this unlikely friends thing popping, and it's hard because people are, you know, comedians, everybody, not just comedians, but people want to do shit when they see the ship already floating. They don't want to start building the shit once your shit is hot. Yo, yeah, give me a verse. You know what I mean? And he bails on me for something, and I'm hot. And then he messages me. He's like, hey, I don't really want to do the sketch stuff or this. He's like, I just want to produce the show. And the show we're doing is a sold-out, hot-ass show at a dope-ass venue. Of course you want to do the show, nigga, you know? So then I'm like, hey, man, don't. And then he calls me, and I'm like, hey, I'm mad. Don't. So when he calls me, I go, I'm like, hey, man, every time you're around the city, you need a chaperone. I was like, when you see me, you should just start recording me because I'm going to fuck you up when I see you.
Wait, who says that?
I say that to him.
Okay.
Yeah. I say that to him, and then... Like, I'm thinking this is also a few years ago. Okay. You know what I mean? This is like my second year in comedy. This is like before my son is born. So I say that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not thinking anything of it. Like, because I'm like, to me, I felt betrayed. Like, this dude had been in my house. He held my son. You know what I mean? He met my wife. My wife cooked for this nigga. I help you. And I tell my uncle about it. That's like my OG. That's like my dad. And he's like, Jamal, that's a top 5 threat. You can't be threatening people like that. But in my mind, honestly, I thought at that time, like, it was worth the reaction because and I was like, oh, I can't be rocking like that with these people. I can't. Number one, that's crazy. You know, let's start there. That's crazy. You can't be threatening people because they don't do what you want or because they let you down. That's crazy. And number two, you got to control your sensitivity. Yeah, it hurts, and you felt betrayed. You did a lot for this guy, and you found out he don't fuck with you like that. That hurts, but you gotta keep it under control because people are gonna look, and people did for a little bit. Like, that nigga Jamal's crazy, you know. And I was the military guy at the time, so it was like, oh, he's crazy because he was in the military. So that's something definitely I have been striving to change within myself.
The anger?
The anger. You want to
do the thing?
Yeah.
The anger.
Yeah, the anger. When my son, I have a son. He's 5 years old, and my dad was a Marine. He was a dick, man. Like, beat my ass. You know, just the stereotypical Medea's movie bad black dude.
He was dark.
Yeah, nah, he was my skin, but his soul was dark. Yeah, you know what I mean? His soul was dark, and I just didn't want to pass that anger onto my son. My son recently, his name is Prometheus, Pro for short, the coolest fucking name you can have. And this nigga, you know, he's light skinned, he's got long hair, he's got braids. You know, I couldn't ever have that shit growing up. My dad was literally shaving my shit bald. And he's in kindergarten. He recently had this incident where this boy at school was picking on him, hitting him. And when I was 7, I was running a race, and I was running a race against this boy, and his brother and sister were behind him, and I was beating him, and he pushed me down, scraped my shoulder, ran into my grandmother crying. And when my dad came home that night, he told me he was disappointed in me, that I should have fought him because they would have respected me more. And I was like, well, his brother and sister were there, they would probably jump me. He was like, they would have respected you. And I held that. That's like a ethos in my life. That was code, you know what I mean? So I go to Pro, the same situation happens to him around the same age. And I say, hey, what do you want to do about it? He's like, I'm just going to tell the teacher. I was like, I'm not telling him to do this, but I'm asking him. We're having a conversation. I'm very I like to ask my kids, what do they think they should do? It's their lives, you know, they're little people. I was like, hey, do you think you should hit them? And he said, no, that wouldn't be right to do the same thing. I don't think that's not going to get it. You know what I mean? He hits me. Yeah, that sucks, but it wouldn't be right to him back.
Morally and ethically.
And in that shit, I'm like, oh, shit. Like,
how old is your son again?
5.
That's a very mature way to respond.
It's a mature way, and that made me proud of him. It made me proud of his mother, and it made me proud of myself. Like, I didn't pass whatever it is I got going on. I didn't pass that. My son doesn't think he got to handle the shit the way I might be threatening comedians out here. You know what I mean? But he don't think he got to do that way. Yeah. That's a win for me. You know, that's a win for me. I was very proud in that moment. Like, I
think you should be.
Yeah.
I've written many things.
Sorry, man. No, yeah, get to it. Sorry,
bro. I know you're good. You're good. I love this.
Yeah.
I love getting to, again, not out in the world because it's too much different energy, but sitting and just
looking at someone, talking to them for real, man. I think that's what I find hard. Like, people in groups are terrible, but people in everybody individually is beautiful, man. If you can really just talk to someone, I really learned. You know when I learned that shit in the military. Because you be on post with someone for 12 hours. This nigga's from Mississippi. This is when you had DVD players. You couldn't watch nothing on your phone. No, you had to bring the whole DVD player, plug that bitch in, and then when the fucking flight chief came, so you would have to talk to people. You're there for 12. You get to know people, and you'd be like, oh, nigga, I like Skyrim too. You know what I mean? You'd have something to connect with. Oh, man, my dad beat my ass too, man. That sucks. There'd be something. Like, I used to hate country music. That's for white people. And it is. You know what I mean?
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Yeah. But when you're listening, it's like, man, these are just their stories, just like rap is our stories. And a lot of time, country shit is real shit. Real pain, real, you know, and I love that aspect of the military. Even when I got deployed. Like, when I was deployed to Afghanistan, there was this dude, and I would go to his shop every day, and we would talk, and we'd have tea, like, every day around lunchtime. He was an Afghani.
Just a random guy.
Yeah, well, they let certain locals have shops and, like, bazaars on the base, like, as a, you know, community thing, as a show of good faith. And this motherfucker, I loved it because this dude did not want to be a shop owner. This nigga wanted to, like, sing or some shit. He was doing it because of dad. And I didn't want to be in the military. I was doing it because my dad. It's like my dad was in the military. So it's like, no matter where you are, we still humans going through the same shit. We still two young men in a middle of a war that we don't got nothing to do with, having tea with each other. I don't understand fully this nigga and his songs and the shit he sings, but I kind of missed that aspect of it. You know, broken down, get into the crux of who someone is.
Do you feel like it's hard to find that in comedy?
I have, because I guess because I'm cautious, because I felt both sides of it. Like, the last 6 months, I haven't been really doing as much comedy. You know, to be honest, I was even questioning, like, if I want to do comedy. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still very close with my son's mother. And my daughter's mother, both of them, which I feel I'm extremely grateful for. And not only they taking care of their kids, but they both still, like, love me. Not like they want to be with me. Like, no, they don't want that. Yeah. But they love me. They know me. And sometimes I'll have, like, bitch moments where I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I don't think I'm made for this. I don't think. And I'll be like, shut up, nigga. You know what I mean? Like, and she got the most stake in it. Who else but to be like, hey, get a regular job, bro? You know what I mean? We need it. She has a lot of stake in it, for her to be like, nah, you got it, really makes me.
Do you feel misunderstood? Not even in comedy, but in life?
You know what, man? That's a question I've really been asking myself. Like, even with you, yeah. I felt like there was some disconnect.
Right now?
No, not right now. Right now is great. Right now we rocking. Like, but I felt like I must have wounded this dude somehow.
Really?
Yeah. Because, like, that, especially like you said, you met me during the Woody's time.
Yeah.
And the Woody's time is interesting because my zany show, it didn't end well with me and Zanies. So I was like, fuck these niggas. I'm doing a show right across the street on Wednesdays. Okay? Yeah. Because that's the kind of nigga I am. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was a very angry time. And then sometimes just hosting an open mic sucked. So I'd fall into this thing kind of hacky of just roasting people, even though that's not necessarily my thing. But then people are coming. That starts to become like the vibe of shit. Yeah. And I stepped on a couple toes because people, if you don't know me, you're coming in, you're having a good day. You're like, hey, look at this dirty nigga. You're like, who the fuck is this nigga? Jamal, fuck this nigga. He's just an open mic host. Fuck, you know,
Before you go, you felt like you wounded me?
Not wound. I felt like there's certain people I feel like not wound. I don't know. Like I must have rubbed this person the wrong way.
It's a story I will have to explain when the cameras are off. Yeah. You haven't done anything.
Okay.
I can assure you, have not done anything.
Yeah.
My feelings going in was a little intimidating. Because I was new to the city,
yes,
and to go into a space that has that vibe is like, oh shit,
yeah. What are you gonna say about me? Yeah, and you're already nervous because it's an open mic. Yeah. Like open mics, like I've done them recently, and it really humbled me, man. Yeah, you forget. Yeah. I think honestly I forgot how it is to be on the other side of shit.
Sign up guy.
Yeah, the sign up guy. Yeah. Cause I was doing the shows, I'm doing specials, you know what I mean? I was rocking. And then to be the recent, I'm oh shit. Maybe you should have a little bit more empathy for these things. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like you rubbed a lot of people the wrong way? Do you feel like that?
Yes and no. Like some of these motherfuckers, it depends. Like how do I say it? Men are very emotional creatures. I think more so than women. I think most men are like me. They're very sensitive, but they cover it and mask it with anger and bravado and all that. And I think that comedy there's more sensitive men per capita in comedy than in the regular world.
I think if you're not sensitive, you're not a good comic.
Yes, because it's part of being an artist. You got to be vulnerable and sensitive, but that's a double-edged sword. So if you're older and bro, dating is not hard for me. I've been married twice. I got a girl right now. Both my baby. You know what I mean? I got kids. I'm fucking. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I've always just been myself. Even I've always loved nerd shit. I've loved Final Fantasy, but I was never like, oh, I'm an anime guy. I'm like, yeah, and we can fight about it. And I'm not saying I'll win either, but you gonna have to. I have that energy about me, so I was never like. Some people want you to shrink yourself a little bit, and I feel like I've rubbed people. There was were you here when the immunity was a thing?
The what?
The immunity.
No, what's that?
It was like a.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard about this.
So,
I think Emily Ogle told me.
Yes,
about it.
she was a frequent. Her and Rovan is a dirty ass place. So people are outside of there, and it's like I said, my first year in comedy, I'm getting into this whole like independent thing. Like, why should I line up at this comedy club for them to pick me out of a crowd? You know, why do for comedy? It's interesting because it's not like you just need people to do comedy. Yeah. What does it matter? The building and the backdrop. And when you get inside these buildings, not everything is not as majestic as you once thought. So I'm going through this thing, and I'm trying to like rally the troops. I'm almost trying to what's the word? Unionize us in a way. I'm trying to like rally because that's the kind of person I am. I've always fancied myself a leader, not in the sense of you should do what I tell you. In the sense of like, I think a leader is a servant position. I would like to. I think this. I would love to pass you the ball. I see this in you. I would love to fucking man, nigga. You can dunk. Yeah. No, I can't. You can dunk.
It's not MJ those first few years. MJ in his later years.
Yes. Everybody. We need every fucking person on deck. And maybe I'm the person. You know, the real leader is the first follower. That's what I always say.
Can you elaborate on that?
There's a video at There's a video that they be teaching like leadership courses. It's a motherfucker dancing at a festival. He's rocking, he's dancing. Nobody's dancing. Everybody's just looking at this nigga. Somebody gets up and they start dancing, and they let that person know, hey, this guy's legitimate. And I feel like in comedy, I've always been trying to like find that person, like that first spot, like, hey, yo, he's spitting. He's just trying to. And I find that hard because naturally it's a narcissistic It's like boxing. You're one on the crowd. This is not no team sport. Yeah. You know what I mean? So people, what the fuck, this nigga? I had literally this dude tell me like, hey man, you need to calm down. People are like acting like, who does this guy think he is? Just because I'm trying to be like, hey, we should run our own shows, or we should do this, or we should do that. And so I found it hard in that respect. But also it's like cool because there's so many different types of motherfuckers. If you just sit in a room, you can learn so many different perspectives if you want to. You know, if you just sit in an open mic, you can be like, oh damn, I never thought about that like that. Or damn, I never been there. I never talked to that type of person, or I never had those type of feelings. So,
do you have ADHD?
Oh yeah, I'll be hopping around a lot. Yeah.
Okay. You're making more sense to me.
Yeah.
You've said a lot of stuff. I think the thing that I've related to the most is not just being one thing. Mm-hmm. Like you were in the military, but you're also sensitive, but you like nerd shit, but you down to fight, but you probably like sports, but you like and I think that being someone who is so complicated makes it hard to connect with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I see like you hang out with Ty.
I do.
And I see you and Ty as similar dudes. Maybe not, you know what I mean? Like I think different sides of the like same group. Yeah. Different, but not the same guy, but like in the same sphere of the, and I don't know who that
is for you.
Is for me. Because when I do hang out with like and don't get me wrong, like I hang out with Zacho sometimes. Yeah. I love Zacho, and I hang out with Dan Garcia, and I love him, and Ken Flores. You know, when he was here, I loved Ken, but there was nobody, and maybe that's my thing. Like maybe that's not a thing.
I think
maybe that's not a.
Do you have any male friends? Like just a dude?
Yeah, my best friend Rob. Okay, I have male friends outside of comedy, but inside of comedy, not really.
Okay, well then I will offer this because I know how you perceive friendship and the importance of that.
Yeah.
So I will reach out to you because I enjoy listening to you and I relate to you. I will reach out to you.
Oh and we can see if we can for sure. Hell
yeah. Legitimate friendship.
Yeah, that would be awesome, dude. And that's the thing too. Like I'm one of the I want that.
Yeah.
I'm not bro, I'm like I used to fucking organize flag football.
Yeah.
You know, I used to try to do it. It just I feel like this year something just kind of cracked. Yeah. Like I just felt like I tried to organize people a lot and it wasn't really it wasn't changing shit.
Yeah.
You know, when you come into comedy, you're like, damn, I wish somebody would kind of like tell me be nice to me. Tell me who the bookers are. And I was doing that.
Yeah.
I was really like trying to be like a mentor. And bro, I got this person I was like, they would call me their stepdad. This person, yeah. And I looked at her like a little sister, you know what I mean? And I was always giving her spots. I put her on her first show. You know, it was my show always if her name comes up. And you don't owe me anything, but I felt like I poured into you. So when her first show that she produced came up, you know, she got one of her clips go viral. She gets offered to do a show downtown. They're offering her, and she's like, what should I do? I give her my business plan that I use. I say, no, do this. The name of that, she named the show. I gave her that name. She doesn't book me for the show. And that
hurt your feelings.
It hurt my feelings, and it sent me on like, it sounds corny, but like a moral journey. Why am I doing things for people? Is it to get something in return? How should I feel when I don't receive that? Is the payment that I got just doing the act? It made me ask a lot of questions on myself that I didn't necessarily have the answers to.
Did you feel bad that you were hurt? That you are hurt by that? Was it?
At first, I was ashamed that I was hurt because I felt like, damn, I'm letting this 23-year-old white bitch hurt my feelings, nigga. You've been to war. You know what I mean? You've been divorced. You know what I mean? Like,
you've been through much worse.
I've been through much worse, but it did hurt me, bro. And it hurt me so much that I because my regular life is dope. like my regular life outside. I love my kids. Me and my baby mom. She sometimes just FaceTime me. We just talk shit about Drake or the situation going on in the Middle East.
Listen to his new album?
Oh yeah, and like I'm a fuck nigga, so I should, in theory, Did you hear what Joe Budden said about it?
Yeah, he said that you're too old for this, essentially. Wrong messenger,
right message, man.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that.
Because he is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I stopped listening to rap as much. I don't want niggas talking about how broke I am and you want to fuck my bitch and I'm ugly and I'm dusty. That's all. I just be listening to jazz or the sounds of the road. Yeah, I don't have time for it no more, man.
JID.
I do love JID. I love J. Cole. I love
Dreamville.
Exactly. Those are niggas.
Old TD
and Dreamville. Yeah, you can get some substance, out of that and some uplifting. And we're just somewhat. Hey, it's cool to hear another nigga be like, "Oh, I'm kind of going through something. Yeah, I'm a little sad. Yeah, I might not want no pussy." These other niggas, they're never full. Yeah. Drake, you haven't had enough. You rapping about 21-year-old bitches. My girlfriend now is 7 years younger than me. She's 29.
Okay.
I'm 36. And the age difference is, a little bit, but she's not, like, I would never fuck somebody that's, like, 25. I think 25 is, like.
It starts to get weirder the older. Legally, sure, but.
She didn't really know who Transformers were. You know what I mean? She know Michael Bay Transformers. Right. She don't know, like, the Beast, and I ain't like that. Yeah. There's certain shit. What are you doing with a 21-year-old? So I kind of.
Do you play poker?
No. I would love to learn, but I've never. Do you play poker?
I do. So to relate to the whole to relate to the whole reaching out, pouring into other people without that retribution.
Yes.
I feel you, and I have that same issue. Like when I say I'm gonna message you, I mean it.
Oh yeah.
I will message you. Ask anybody else who's been on the podcast. I told them that. And I've gone out of my way to build friendships, and it can suck when you're like, I'm gonna make a poker night. We're all gonna hang out, and then nobody shows. Oh my god,
bro! And it's like,
oh my god.
I don't like feeling like I'm crazy, and I feel like comedy is the only thing that does that to me. Like, and when I'm in the world, like I saw you the other night. You were at the Run the Jewels concert.
That's how this all started.
Yeah, that's how this all started. That's how we saw each other. And I work these gigs. Mm-hmm. So every time I work, I'll be working with somebody I've never met in my life. That's the first day we're meeting. We went up at a store's locker. Mm-hmm. We grab the shit. We meet up. And those fun people always find me. And think about, we're working together. It can be stressful. We don't know what we're doing. They always find me like happy, charmed. But in the comedy, it's not that. Yeah. And part of that is on me. I'm aware of that. Like I have.
What capacity?
I think like how I can come off sometimes. Like I can be a grumpy motherfucker. You know what I mean? I can be like I'm gonna stand in the back of the room, don't talk. You know what I mean? I can definitely give off that vibe. And that all it takes is one time to rub somebody the wrong way. You know what I mean? Then they talking about you, or just they just like I don't know. And I also don't hang out as much as I probably should. I'm like I'm doing the show, and before the show ends, I'm not there.
I relate.
Part of that is because I got kids. What is it for you?
It's being an introvert. It's too much. The reason I'm able to like lock in with you is because it's just you.
Yes,
it's you and me, and I can. It's so hard to explain. I think you'll get this. I think kind of being an empath and having to feel your way through stuff. A little bit about my background.
Okay.
Grew up in an all-white, very conservative area, very racist, and manipulatively racist.
Yes.
Not like going to Alabama, hey, boy.
Yeah, don't come over here. Mm-hmm. It's like, we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
We're not. What do you mean? Come on.
Hyper-logic racism, where it's like, well... Aaron, I mean, is it fair that there's a Black History Month when there's not a White History Month?
And when there's not people around you, you can't gather the troops to be like, if you don't have the answer on the spot. I hate when they do that because you got to talk for every black person now. You're a kid. Yeah.
And so I was, I was around, and my mom I love my mom.
Yes. Disclaimer.
I love my mom.
Yes.
And through moving and getting that distance from her, I've come to a more understanding place of her. She is not going to do the work from what I gather, and that's okay. That's her life.
Yes.
But she also was a volatile person in my life. And so I was always walking on eggshells, always paranoid.
About what's going to happen, what's going to happen, yeah.
All the time, paranoid.
Oh.
Like, if I, like the getting jumped and getting attacked, just the getting screamed at, being told that I'm crazy and I'm making shit up. So there's a lot of trauma there, and I think people who grow up that way. I talked to Jessica, Jesus Christ,
Mr. Tano.
Thank you. We kind of related on that, where when you're around people that are fucking with you, you have your spidey sense has to get turned up, and so you have to feel your way out around people.
Yeah,
and around a lot of people, especially comedians, it's too much.
And we don't talk about nothing real.
Yeah.
Right now, we having before this, me and you were strangers. Now we're having a real conversation that's going to push our relationship forward. You understand me more, I understand you more. When you see another comedian, you know what you do? Well, what you up to, bro? What shows you?
Oh, you wrote a joke.
That's all you. This is what you're doing. You rolling up to it like, show me your Pokemon badges, nigga. Mm-hmm. Show me your Pokemon badges right now. I got more, and I don't like that shit. Even when I was doing better than, you know what I mean? I didn't like on both sides. I don't like it. I don't like it. I never liked bragging on motherfuckers. I never liked. I'm bad with self promotion. Because I don't. It feels weird.
It is weird,
and I don't like that type of interaction.
You would hate LA.
I went to LA this summer. Not a fan, and that's part of the reason I like here. And I was trying to curate a more, because it's like, nigga, this is Chicago, and we not even. There's nothing to lose here or really gain, but experience. So why are we treating each other like that at this level? We don't even have to do that yet. There's not even like $1 million deal on the line. There's not.
And I think this industry attracts that type of person. This industry attracts, there's a spectrum on it, but the extremes of it are people that are real slimy and people that are almost too emotional and open.
Yes.
Because it's
the therapy on stage, motherfuckers.
Yeah, like, I used to be that guy.
Yeah. Talking it out. Yeah. Tell a joke, motherfucker.
Be funny.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to remember, like, hey, funny first. But I figured that out. But yes, I agree that just a real conversation. I can't do small talk. It makes me confused.
Yeah,
because I know you don't actually want to talk to me.
It makes me feel like I'm like playing a VR version of myself.
Yeah.
Like we in a video, like why are we, bro? You don't actually care, and I don't actually care what we talking about, and that's so, and that's what I hate, like about me. Sometimes I guess choosing not to participate because it's like, come on, man, you know, at 2 o'clock on the, we not do. It's not like y'all doing any real work, right? Whether we talking socially or it's not like we're up talking like real shop. Mm-hmm. Most of the comedy talk is not like, hey, I got a tag for you. Hey, you know what? You should pause a little here. Oh, you know what? There's this comedian. It's not that. It's more like, who books this? Who? And that if it was a discussion it's confusing.
About the art form, I would be more invested.
Anything. I love finding, and I'm sure you're like this too. I'm curious about things and people. I would love to find, you know what I mean, out your perspective. Even if I think like, oh, that nigga's crazy. Yeah. I would love to. Why you think that? Yeah. You know, and I wish and I guess I'm disappointed because I feel like, of all artists, I thought that's what comedians were. I thought we were counterculture, and I guess I've been questioning, like, can I make it in this industry if I don't want to necessarily be an entertainer?
Are you happy right now?
I'm happy in my life. Fuck yeah. In my career, no.
In stand-up specifically.
But in life, bro, yeah. My life is like really like that's what I hate too about being around comedians, because usually it's the opposite. It's like they're stunning on me, like, and it's like, but in life, bro, yeah, my life is beautiful. Like my girlfriend, she loves my son. Everybody respects each other. We be going out to dinner together. Like my baby mom, she's with a new guy. He calls my son King. You know what I mean? When he sees like everybody's they came to my show. Yeah. I made all of Laugh Factory boo this nigga.
That's, man. First off, community is important to me, and it sounds like you've developed within your family unit. You've developed a real healthy community, and I think that's going to be way at the end of the day. That's going to be way more important than comedy will ever be.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Thank you, bro.
And by the way, to connect again, I feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
I feel in my life for the first time I am happy. My day-to-day life, that I've built friends with Ty, and I hang out with Rachel all the time.
Yeah.
And I have an apartment, and I smoke weed, and I fuck around, I draw.
You're like, this is nice,
this
man.
Is a
you wake up, you're like, this is.
And then after this, I'm gonna pack all this shit up, and I'll go to a fucking open mic.
Yeah.
And
do you play video games?
No, that's a Ty thing.
Okay.
I'm learning how to draw, doing jujitsu, and music.
So you really like learning processes, tangible processes. Mm-hmm. Okay,
I'll lose my shit. You get me on jujitsu, boy, I won't stop.
Really awesome.
But with stand up, and it's not that I don't love the art of stand up. It's a different grind, and it's a different. You don't
get to do the thing.
Yeah.
Most of our time, 90% of the time is not doing the thing. Yeah. I don't know another art that's like that. Yeah. You got to wait to do the thing. And then when you do the thing, it's 5, 10, 15 minutes at a fucking time at this point in our careers. It's nuts.
There would be no bands if the only way you could learn how to play an instrument was for 5 minutes.
In front of everybody.
Yep. And then they can boo you. And then they can...
Nah, son.
I know he's been doing this 3 months, but he
sucks. And then the people who can, book you have that impression of you too. It's a hard art form, and I guess I get disappointed in I don't mind the industry, but to me as comedians, like, we shouldn't be making it hard. It's like if the players ran the NFL and they were like finding each other. Mm-hmm. It's like, nigga, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. We're making it hard for us. We should be making it a little, and I guess that's what I was trying to do with Woody's. At first when I was running it, it was I was giving out $100 for the best set, and everybody who came in got a beer.
I feel like I remember the $100.
Yeah. The best set got $100, and everybody who came in got a beer. And I was doing that for a year, but it's like no one gave a fuck. Yeah. And I'm like, nigga, I got a kid. What am I spent so long not taking money, booking shows, not getting a dime, paying everybody else out, and nobody was like. I thought those were the moments like pouring in that like, all right, I'm not gonna hang out till 3 a.m, but I'm gonna break y'all off. Yeah. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do cocaine in the bathroom and talk shit with y'all. I am, you know what I mean, before the show, during the show, but I can't. Also, we old. My stomach hurt. Yeah. What about that? Yeah. I gotta poop soon if I don't get home to my bathroom.
I think that's indicative of age too, though. Like you started later. I started like taking it seriously around 26, 27.
Okay.
And when you're starting older, there's a different mentality. Like, I meet some dudes who are like 18, 19 starting. I'm like, man, you have so much energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And very silly things seem so important to you.
Yes.
I will not forget. Please don't let me forget. I still got to tell you the story off the
because
that's connected to that.
Okay.
But I mean, do you think? And this isn't me encouraging you to stop comedy by any stretch. Yeah. Is it worth it?
It is, because in my life, man, I remember the first time I was on stage, bro, and getting that first big laugh. Like, I was like, my God, I found it. Like, I found the thing that, like, I'm better than most people at. Mm-hmm. This thing. That shit felt like fucking King Arthur pulling out Excalibur's sword for like, it just felt like it was mine. And I guess it makes me sad sometimes, because, like, am I going to quit because of other humans, this thing that is mine? I'm good at this thing. I love this thing. People tell me they love when I do this thing. The only bar for entry is, it's not even like a dragon or like a fucking lava pit, or I'm about to get, it's people. I should be able to handle people. And I went to war. I've seen the ugliest side of people, but that made more sense in a way than this, because that's war.
Yeah, life or death.
Life or death. People are doing nasty things. It's like when I went over there, I was like, this is just gonna be. Don't take none of this shit home.
Yeah.
This is none of this is canon, nigga. This is another dimension over here.
Can you see why your dad was the way he was?
No, because that's what was very interesting. Because my dad never went to war, so he was just. I think a major part of the reason my dad's Haitian and my mom's from Belize.
Okay.
So they both immigrated here. I was the first person in my family to be born in this country. And I think for my father, he was having to figure out how to be American and how to be black at the same time.
It's exhausting.
And I'm complaining about like, oh, I don't fit in. But imagine if you Haitian on top of that and you wearing corduroys and you don't know nothing about the culture and you got a funny. So I think that just filled his and he thought he had to, this is the 80s. Hyper masculine macho man action movies. He took that code. He thought that's what being a man was, and he passed that to me. So to a certain extent, I don't blame him. Like when he found out he was about to have me, he joined the Marines because he was like he not even money. He felt like he needed a code to live by. He felt like he didn't have a code to pass on to me. He didn't have a rules to live by to pass on to me. And passing Marine code on to a child is dangerous, nigga.
Yeah, that's an interesting, admirable in its
attempt.
Yeah,
but in its execution, you get a nigga threatening other comedians.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
And I get you with the anger too, by the way. And I'm coming to real. I didn't know that I was considered big.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know I was big
because you didn't feel like that.
I never felt.
You never felt like that, but yeah, somebody sees you like, yeah, this motherfucker slap the shit out of me.
And I'm realizing, like, especially with the whole white women comedian, all of that stuff.
Talk about it, brother.
I will preface and I will start with being understanding and empathetic to this group.
Yes.
I understand that being a woman, regardless of your race or ethnicity or nation, whatever, being a woman is not fucking easy.
No.
Being a black woman in particular.
That's the one right there.
Woo! When you said your ex-wife was like, no, go do comedy, I had a feeling she was black.
Yeah, man. That's the way they support you. It's different, and it's gotten me in trouble in comedy in a way, because especially with women comedians.
Yeah. Before you keep going, I don't want to forget. I do want to talk.
Yeah. You want to talk about?
I do want to talk about this white woman thing.
Yeah.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. I think that they in comedy we say like dudes are like crazy or they need therapy or let's be equal. It's the same with these women. Like we're not crazy deranged individual and you guys are all activist spokesmen. We're all kind of damaged people doing drugs, drinking. And when it comes to white women, I'm a black dude. We're both half oppressed, half oppressor. Okay? You're a white woman, and honestly, who would you rather be? I'd rather be you than me. So
oppression.
Oppression, yeah. The only thing we gotta use is our physical strength, and honestly, you're not getting your ass beat. Okay, what the worry is now? It's cancellation, social currency, and y'all have that in spades. So sometimes I feel like they use that against, and I've been caught in situations because I'm also like, I love everybody. I'll fuck anybody. Green, baby, we serve.
You started off the reality.
Yeah, the reality of it is, and I love, just like we love people, all different types. I love all different types because this person has a different perspective and can teach me something different and has tied into something else. And I've gotten into that in comedy that, like, man, I'm lonely. You look good. We're sensitive. And then we fuck, and it's like, oh, now we got a problem. And that is dangerous when you're in this social currency type of community.
Yes. I'm going to do the thing.
Yes.
So acknowledge black women, all the white women. I struggle with it because I want to keep reminding myself, like, this isn't the suffering Olympics Like, I'm not trying to be like, I suffer more than you. I don't want to do that. We all fucking suffer, including Anthony Bourdain killed himself. He seemed to be a rich white guy.
Yeah, for real. Everybody loved him, it seemed like, for sure.
But what you're saying, this threat, this physical threat that we present is, one, really overblown. We're super predators, I believe is what we used to call us.
Yes.
Birth of a Nation, for those of you who have never seen it, really emphasized that black men in particular are these violent animals that just rape white women all over the place. There was an interview of a guy who's on like an old school talk show, like a Jerry Springer talk show or something, who said, if you're a white woman around a black man, you are 200% likely to get raped. He said 200%. Like, you gotta get raped twice?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And so this idea of us as these violent fucking animals has been permeating for so long, and then to speak to men in general, the danger that women experience from that is so valid. It's so valid.
Yeah.
But now, post Me Too movement, I don't want to say it's flipped, because that's not the way I would. The currents, that social.
The currency, it's just a different. I think I wish we can acknowledge that we're talking about two different things.
Yeah.
There's a physical harm and there's mental harm that we can do, but there is a social thing. Even in our comedy community, the men who have been canceled always tend to be black guys. Really? When women want to speak up against a guy, it is 9 times out of 10 gonna be a black guy. The last major one, I was surprised.
Okay.
And even with that, it still kind of went more quietly, and he's still doing his thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it was a white dude. But I feel like
By the way, you can say whatever you want. Just know, if you need me to cut anything,
yeah. No, and so far we've been good.
Okay.
I haven't said anything I'm embarrassed of yet.
Okay.
But it's hard because my girlfriend is white, and I grew up with a white stepmom that was extremely racist. Extremely, Like, I'm talking about because my dad's a whitewashed black dude. He didn't have any black friends. He's
trying to assimilate.
And he was doing an impression of a black guy, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, he thought he had to talk a certain way around black people. And I got a little bit of that because I was a black guy growing up in the suburbs, and I had a white stepmom to make matters worse. And you get culture from your mother. You know what I mean? So I'm not getting that. So I had to figure that out.
And they get in your head. They're smart.
They're smart. And the way you said it, what you say, it's a very manipulative kind of racism. You can't put your finger. You can't. Yep. Hey, they're doing this.
Cunning.
It's cunning, and that's almost kind of how I feel with the women thing a little bit. It's this cunning thing that we're both trying to. You're a smart guy. I'm a smart. We can't even put it into words. We can't even put it into context because I don't have the vocabulary for it. But it's this feeling that I feel that I've never in my life, and mind you, I am a self-prescribed former fuckboy. All right, like
samesies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you get it. I've never had a black woman say anything bad about me. Maybe because we're in a relationship, a normal relationship, but not like I felt unsafe or he pressure or anything. And the only women I've ever heard any sort of has been white women comedians after the fact. And that is that's something I've also kind of had to, in this moral thing, separate myself from, because I was like, I'm fucking way too many of these women. When I went to the Christmas party, bro, it was like 10 women in there, and I'm not a bragging thing.
Yeah, I know.
It's more of a.
It just gave me anxiety.
And yes, an anxiety thing, and it's not like It'd be different if we were all on good terms still, but it's like this weird, like we got to pretend like nothing. It's this weird, and I didn't like feeling like that. And I was like, well, you did it, and that's kind of excess. You fucked 10 of your coworkers, nigga. You had to try to do that.
Yeah.
And I really had to take a look at myself, and I don't want that to be my my reputation. I don't want that to be, if Jamal talks to me, he's gonna be trying to fuck. You know what I mean? Because that's not who I am. So I had to, definitely clean that up.
No, I'm with you, and it's tough because it's so complicated. How emotionally, sexually, intellectually, age.
Yes,
it's all very complicated.
All these sliders, but when I fuck an audience member, there's none of that. For real, there's nobody ever says like, well, they're a grown ass woman. That's what I missed that. Is like, hey, can we take the comedy capes off? I'm fucking with Susan because I'm fucking with Susan. We just happen to be. We're not even talking about that half the time. But now when something happens, you want to bring it like as a workplace incident. Like this didn't have nothing to do with that.
To speak to black women comparatively to white women, there was this TikTok, because I get all my knowledge from TikTok now because my brain's
Amen,
melted.
brother. Yep. That's an encyclopedia.
There's a woman. It was a white woman who described something in a way that I never. She reminded me of Jane Elliott a little bit, which is a huge compliment. The greatest white woman of all time is Jane Elliott.
Yes. There's an author, right?
Yes, I'll show you videos. Okay. She does a whole. I love Jane Elliott. I'm gonna be very sad when she dies.
Yeah.
She's very old, but.
That would be crazy if she was like 20. Whenever she goes.
You use some more shea butter.
Yeah,
man.
shit for real. Drink some water, bitch.
But this woman said that black women are raised to have internal power and white women are not. So white women are raised to, I think even Bill Burr kind of touched on it, where it's like, yes, I'm the top, but you're in the jacuzzi with me. You're using, you're not at the top, but you are leveraging what you have to get as close to the fucking top as possible.
Yes.
And the way they leverage that is through emotional manipulation. I remember growing up, when everyone was first getting cars and driving, the amount of white women I heard who were like, I never get a ticket because if a cop pulls me over, I just start crying or I show them my tits.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is the early 2000s, so back then I was like, whatever. Now I'm like, what
the fuck?
You manipulate what?
Yeah.
There was a trend on TikTok. I don't know if they gave it a word, but it was music playing, a white woman be crying, and then
they stopped.
They stopped like that, and they were so proud of it until people were like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So white women, and I'm talking on my ass here, I'm not a white woman, but from what I gather, they're raised to not have internal strength. They're raised to leverage other people's emotions against them.
Yeah.
And black women are not raised to do that.
And speaking of that as well, I feel like the amount of black women don't have a lot of people praising them. No. So they have to really have self-confidence and self-worth. They're like the lowest on the totem pole. Yeah. And I feel like with white women, they sometimes get praised for and especially in the comedy community, for sneezing on the motherfucking mic. You know what I mean? For anything. And dating is hard. And I don't want to stop anybody's individual voice. Sure. But even for myself, man, like, I got to a point where I was talking about white people, and it's like, nigga, I could talk about something else. Yeah. I sound like everybody else. Everybody talking about this. I don't have a unique take on flannels, nigga. They wearing them. Yeah. They like them.
Also, pumpkin spice lattes are delicious.
Bro, you got to come around on some of that shit. You know what white people know? Huh? You know what white people know? Desserts. They cannot cook, but white people's desserts are by far the best.
Snickerdoodles?
Boom, boom. Yo. Even saying that, you felt some of your blackness escape. Snickerdoodle, you got to push it back in.
And that's the thing, to go back to the one of the things I was really connecting with when early on in this podcast, you were talking about feeling betrayed by your friend and that whole thing. That when it comes to white people, part of my paranoia is that where I grew up around them, and I think you'll get this. I had dinner at your house. I slept over. Y'all drove me to church. You guys.
Wow.
And I know for a fact all of them were saying nigger.
Yes. I'm sorry to cut you off. Just that feeling. I 100% know. That feeling of and it's like I didn't see it coming. Yeah. You was treating me so well. I thought we was rocking. We did a handshake.
Yeah, I was the good black person, right? And you're a kid, and you're looking for validation, and it's adults, grown adults, not only just the kids, grown adults are saying this shit to you. And so
when did that sorry to cut you off, did that change your perspective on how you viewed yourself or how you viewed black people, or did you always know they were wrong?
My gut always told me they were wrong, and every time I would push back in a way that was reasonable. Well, actually, I was a kid, so the way I pushed back was I don't think I articulated myself the way I do now.
You can't.
Yeah, I don't have the maturity.
No, you a 32-year-old.
I was an asshole. So on some level, no, I'm not gonna take responsibility.
No, you're a fucking child.
But man. I was a kid. But every time I would get pushback, it was a power in numbers. A wave of them would come back on, and no matter how reasonable you are, if you're dealing with 1 against 10, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They drown you out, and they're adults. They're talking fast. They're using big words, and sometimes they'll move the goalposts. You know what I mean? You're arguing something fucking over here when you were talking about this. That shit is sad, man. That shit is. When did it change for you? When did you?
The moment I gave up, I truly gave up on white people was George Floyd, because by that point it was whittling away at me for my entire life. It just. Every time I would try to be understanding, I would ask questions, I would try to get their perspective, I would try to articulate, I would be calm, I would be angry, I would try every little thing. And then when George Floyd got killed, I was like, oh, this is their moment. This is their moment for redemption. Because my logic was, they don't live in our world.
They don't know.
They have no fucking idea what's going on in our world. And I know good and goddamn well no one was doing anything. It wasn't like Philando Castile or Mike Brown or name any other black person that's been murdered.
Yeah. This was the one for you.
This was the one where I was like, you're all seeing this. Yeah. We're all seeing this.
Yep. In HD.
And you did. I mean, did he die from being?
Yeah. The meth in his system.
Yeah, did he had $20?
Yeah.
The amount of hoops and mental manipulation that white people will make to justify murder and rape and slavery it is insane to me. Yeah. And so that was the moment where I was like, okay, you guys don't care. Like it is not even on some level it's malicious. But outside of, I sincerely believe like it doesn't affect them. They don't care. Yeah. So
I think not to ever defend white people, but not even to defend. But I feel like that way a little bit being a man towards a woman. Yeah. Because they're going through things, and it's like it's not that I don't care about your problem, bitch. I got my own shit. I'm not even You know what's a great example? These migrants that are in Chicago. Yeah. And a lot of places are wanting to, the city wants to turn these field houses, and the neighborhoods are going, fuck no. Black neighborhoods, Spanish neighborhoods. These are people that look like us, but we don't give a fuck about nobody's problems but our own. And I think with white people, it's less of, there's a racist, loud ass, I wouldn't even say minority. Group. Yeah, let's call it a group. I don't even want to say minority. But most of these motherfuckers just don't care either way. Just don't care. I don't care about your problems. You talking about what? Cops?
I think what pisses me off, though, to bring it back to the white women thing, is the Me Too movement. I sat down and I took my talking. I was like, yes. When it happened, I remember.
You could tell we have, because even when we were trying to talk about it, we're like, but they are going through things. Yeah. Even because before, if this was true, I'd be like, these bitches are dumb.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. No, I really I had a friend right a little before the Me Too movement. I had a friend get old school raped. None of this we had too many drinks. No. Like old school,
like rape and pillage.
Yeah,
the
like
Vikings game
times, and it was I was furious. It was the dude. They caught him, and they caught him like a day later. He was in jail and he hung himself. Little piece of shit. Yeah, he never got any come up.
That sucks. Yeah,
but. Outside of, and this is how white people view racism. Outside of the most extreme version of it, I'm not thinking about it. And then Cosby got in trouble. And I remember in the beginning, I was like, you were just trying to disrespect the name. Yeah. And then after goddamn 25, 30 of these accusations, I'm like, all right, maybe I should take a second here and listen. And a lot of women in my life told me stories, and they told me about things that happened and how they felt. And I was like, oh, that's really fucked up. I am so sorry. And I don't doubt at all that I've added to that problem.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's and that's another thing that not makes me, but it's like, how do you retroactively solve? Not even saying I'm not. Obviously, we haven't raped anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I've made people feel uncomfortable.
Same. Yeah.
I've pressured. I've maybe pushed. I've maybe, you know, I've done things. Like, I'm 36 years old. I've slept with a lot of people. Like, and sometimes I'll think about, like, even now, like, I'll be doing the dish, like, damn, that was kind of. But do I say something? And then now in this area, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be used against me in the court of fucking law? I'm scared to be like, hey, that was bogus.
Yeah, that was really not appropriate.
That was really not appropriate. And not in a criminal way, just in a moral, we were cool, you were my friend type of way, you know?
But then to bring it back to the white women and all the stuff, we have learned and we're trying to grow from it. And sometimes it feels like, the Me Too movement got taken over by white women. Yeah. Which
they co-op everything.
They're so good at it too. Yeah. But we have tried to improve that. And this is not me saying that all white here we go. This is not me saying that all white people have not learned from the Black Lives Matter movement and not tried to improve. But it would seem, socially speaking, men in general seem to be trying to be like, if for nothing else, to not get in trouble, to seem to be like, let me work on this here. We had to adhere to standards and kind of be like, we men everywhere got put on probation. Yeah. And white people ain't never got that probation feel. No. Never got that like, oh, yeah, we got to relax for a little bit. Yeah. Men everywhere but got for real. We really got on that like, you know what? Let me not push her by the hip. Deservedly so. Deservedly so. I'm not saying it was a real wake-up call. Some shit you didn't even realize you were doing. Yeah. Nigga, I'm touching with everybody. Yeah. If I like, I'll slap you, I'll hug you out. But I understand. Yeah. As a woman, like, damn, this motherfucker, you get touched like that. We all did it. All 10 dudes around you. So I understand that. I wish it was just more balance and nuance. Yeah. And I wish white people would just take their talking to. Sit down. It's okay. Do you have any white friends now? You have any white comedian friends you're close to? Yeah. Yeah. I would say so. Not as close as I would like, but I don't know if that's because of my own things and my paranoia. But I do. The people I talk to every day are black. Yeah, of course. Yes. Yeah. I have some day one friends from back in like middle school that I'm still connected with, and then there are white comics out. There's white people out here that I fuck with that I like. Yes. The first one that comes to mind is like Aaron Klein. Yes, good guy. Who immediately you're like, oh, this is just the sweetest goddamn person. But I've also come to a place where I was the black friend for so long, and I moved out here to be around black people. Part of that was that. And so for me, it's like I want to be around black people. I don't want to have to explain myself. How long? So you've been out here for 2 years? 2.5 years. 2.5 years. And was this like your first time being around, like having like a black group of friends, being around? Do the thing. Yeah. Battery's about to die, so we'll do this and then we'll wrap up. I would say yeah. Yeah, this is the first time. How does that feel? Amazing. Feel to have black friends for amazing. Jesus, man, that's like. If you colorblind and they give you the glasses for the first time or something, man. I feel understood. I feel heard. I feel connected. I feel like I have a community. Wow. And you got all that at 30. Yeah. Yeah. You just got all that. So that first year here was me processing. That's another, like that whole first impression thing. Where's like exactly like this guy does he smell it on me? Yeah, like what's going? Yeah, or when I go to the South Side or whatever, it's like y'all don't and I get it, they don't know me, but it's like you don't understand. I just finished 30 years of trauma. This is my first year out here. Can you give me? Give me a. Yes, let my shoes. I know. I get it. God damn. Oh yeah. Oh boy, bro. We're talking what? Yeah. Okay. Shut the fuck up and listen to where I come from. Yes. It's not fun. Yes. It's like at least y'all had each other over here. Yes. When the cops chase you, they don't know which one they're going after you. Exactly. But when they go after me, it's just me. Yeah. It was you had to learn what clothes to wear, how to do your hair, how to fucking keep up. All y'all had all that. Y'all had each other. You had community. And so having what I have now, I am so happy and so good. That's awesome, man. And I want you to be a part. When you when you said like you know you don't feel that connection with anyone, that makes me not in a condescending way, but that makes me sad. It's like yo, you know,
it's hard as you get older, and especially as a man, to just make friends. It's like coming into like an anime that's on 1,000 episodes. Like, how do you jump in with someone? Yeah. It's easy to jump in with someone. You both 14. You go in at the beginning of the book. It's like, and I think like some of my own biases. Like some of the hurt that I just explained to you has been hindered. But I do want to. That's why. Perfect segue, maybe a perfect way to wrap this up. We talked, and I want you to be on my podcast. We're all friends here because it's a similar type of vibe, and I literally made the show called We're All Friends Here because I want strangers to talk. I want everybody to remove that, air of, oh, I might have more followers, or I have my more viewers, or I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, and just be people in a fucking room. Yeah. And I think that's both of our, even though we're on different ends of the spectrum, that's both of our vibes.
I'm excited to do it. Next week, right?
Next week, next Wednesday.
Okay, here's the last thing. Let's pretend the camera's you in 5 years, for 5 years from now. If you could say whatever you want to yourself 5 years in the future, what would you say?
5 years in the future, stay humble, stay. You know what? The number one thing you got to do is prove the people who believe in you right. That's what you got to do. Prove everybody who loves you and pours into you right, and that's the only thing you got to focus on, man. You got a lot of people who love you. You got a beautiful family. Yeah, man, that's what I would do. That would be my advice.
All right, let's take this picture.
Yes, sir.